Welcome to Sikhcast, brought to you by Sikh Research Institute, illuminating every path.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Jasleen Kaur and I'm a trance creator on the Guru Granth Sahib project. We're excited to announce the release of Guru Arjan Sahib's Chaubole. So the title of this composition can be understood as a kind of compound of two words, Jo and Bole. So Jo can refer to the poetic form of 4 meters or 4 languages coming together. It can also refer to kind of excitement and enthusiasm. And because 9 of the 11 sloks mention love, we can kind of extrapolate that it's an excitement and enthusiasm of love that's being explored here. Bole refers to the act of speaking in that excitement. And it's worth mentioning that this composition, these sloks are not set to any rag or musical mode. And so throughout the sloks, we have this exploration of what it means to be a lover of the beloved, of IkOankar, of the One, through invocations of 2 Sikhs of the Guru who kind of represent what it is like to be a lover of the beloved and to be in that enthusiasm and in that excitement. So if I was to summarize these 11 sloks before I get into kind of the things I've been thinking about, I would say that this sort of series of couplets, if I can say that, is an exploration of what it really means to be in love. It's a reminder that love of IkOankar or love for IkOankar cannot just be cultivated through external means, through like wealth and pilgrimages and recitations and austerities or disciplines or displays of religiosity. That instead, the being who connects with IkOankar consciously and devotedly is the one who becomes worthy of IkOankar's love. And it's those seekers who experience a kind of departure of their own ego and their own fickleness and their own stubbornness in the mind. And then they experience their minds sort of being immersed in the identification with IkOankar in every moment. They don't like look anywhere else in search of that connection and that bliss and that excitement and that love. They remain in a kind of constant state of joy due to the cultivation of humility within themselves. And they sort of understand what is worth accumulating or cultivating. And it's just that devotion in relation to the beloved. So, all that being said, I thought I would talk about sloks 1 and 2. In the first slok, the Guru invokes someone who's, again, a Sikh of the Guru, a lover of the beloved, and says, "O someone, if the exchange of this love could happen through wealth, then what of those kings like Ravan, who were not paupers, who, having severed his own head, offered it?" So, if you don't already know, Ravan is a figure from the Hindu literary tradition. He's the primary antagonist of the Ramayana. He's the king of Lanka. He's said to have 10 heads, which represents like great intellect. He has a huge army. He has great wealth. He has great power and legitimacy, physical and sort of intellectual power. But not a single one of those things was giving him what he wanted in relationship with his guru, with his teacher, with his beloved. And it was his offering to his teacher, his literal head, an offering that was made out of deep love that gave him that feeling he sought, that connection he sought. And so we're reminded from the very beginning of this composition that when a lover is in love, they give their head. And what does that like mean in a kind of symbolic way rather than a literal way? It means that a lover of the beloved humbly surrenders in love, gives their kind of entire self, their mind, their body, their heart, all of the kind of things that are housed in the mind, like stubbornness and ego and a sense of self and fickleness. And when we give those things over in deep humility and devotion, that's the kind of true sort of act of love and devotion of a seeker or of a lover of the beloved. We begin to understand the temporariness of our worldly wealth and power and influence and reputation even. And we begin to understand the value of our devotion and our submission. And we begin to serve the one that we love. And in the sort of second slok then, kind of continuing with that idea of what it means to be in that state of great love, the Guru says, "Preet prem tan khachreya, beech narai hot, charan kamal man bedhyo, bujhan surat sanjog." As always, excuse my pronunciation, but the English translation is the being whose body remains absorbed in love and affection. There's not even the distance of a mustard seed between them and IkOankar. The mind is pierced in the lotus feet. This realization happens through the union of the consciousness with the Nam. So I know that's a lot, but the thing that has really struck me about the second suluk is that image of the mustard seed. The seeker whose body is like absorbed in, dyed in, filled with, drenched in, whatever you want to say, in love, is completely in that love and affection, such that like the love housed in the body for IkOankar comes to make up the entire body. There's no room for even a mustard seed within the body. There's no room for even a mustard seed's worth of distance between the lover and the beloved, because that seeker is so drenched in love that it's like as if they've become the love itself, which is so beautiful. And I've just been thinking about that a lot as I've been working on this. It's at this like point when the body is so filled with love that it becomes inseparable and indistinguishable from that love. And it's at that moment that the mind is in the sanctuary of the lotus feet. So like, what are the lotus feet? You might be asking. This is how the mind comes to a state of learning and humility and openness and softness in their relationship with IkOankar. And it's how that union of the consciousness happens, how awareness comes to sort of sit within the being. I think as seekers, as people who want to be in relationship with IkOankar and are in different ways in relationship with IkOankar, as lovers of the beloved, we maybe tend towards seeking like a clear-cut method or process of like, okay, if I do these things, like then will I feel it? Like, when am I going to get this? When will the mind get it? When will my stubbornness leave me? When will I figure this out? But there's no formula. And the Guru is reminding us that all of this can happen only when the body is like so full of love that it's like we're like overflowing. And only a lover who's experienced this can really know what it is, and it can't really be explained. So there is this like interesting tension that even like I've had as I've been trying to kind of think through or feel through this composition of like, I cannot will this experience or this knowing into my own little brain because it's not logical. This love and the experience and enthusiasm and enjoyment of love is a thing that permeates the body and like all of its cells. It fills us up such that like our minds and bodies are constantly and ceaselessly with the one, like feeling the presence of the one we love. And even when we feel that excitement, the mind can be stubborn still. But when that love and excitement fill the body so much that there's actually no room for the stubbornness anymore, the mind is pierced by humility and loving submission to the one. And that's the moment that the mind figures out intuitively and consciously sort of how to be in relationship with the beloved. So those are the things that I've really been thinking about with this composition. And I'm reflecting a lot on what cultivating that love within myself looks like. And I hope you also spend some time with these 11 saloks in the word meaning section, in the footnote section, in the translation and transcription, in the commentary, however you want to interact, and maybe reflect on what it looks like, what it could look like for you to walk this path of love for the beloved, for IkOankar as a lover. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Read the translations and commentaries at gurugranthsahib.io.
You are listening to Sikhcast by Sikh Research Institute, illuminating every path.